Good evening and welcome to the Never-Ending Sports Debate. I'm David Cabrera.
I'm Matthew Forney.
All right, so our first topic for today is the Final Four, and we're going to talk about the two semifinal games before we talk about the championship game from last night. So that Wichita State versus Louisville game, what do you think about that one?
I thought it was well played, except for there is, as always in games, there's going to be controversial calls, and there was definitely one that definitely helped decide the game late in the game, which should not have been called as it was right away. They should have. Maybe 2 seconds later they should have called it, but you know that's not how the cookie crumbles.
And you're talking about the jump ball, right?
Yes, off the I believe it was Payne Siva's missed free throw.
Mm-hmm.
And the Louisville defender, Wichita State guy, number 10, I think his last name is, or 31, I can't think of his name, I don't know his last name, but he grabbed the rebound, and then Russ Smith came in and tied him up, and it was like simultaneously once Russ Smith grabbed the ball, they just called a jump ball, which I don't think should have been a jump ball right then and there, because if you watch 2 seconds later, Wichita State guy rips it out of his hands and establishes, like it was as soon as he touched the ball, they called jump ball, which is not really fair.
The way you're describing that is kind of like the Seattle-Green Bay game.
Yeah.
When the refs messed that up.
Yeah.
But if it's if it's on the Louisville side, even though the Wichita State guy got it, they're gonna give it to Louisville if a guy ends up like tying him up. They're gonna give that to him all the time. Exactly. So they're not gonna give it to Wichita State.
I think it was a blown call.
I think it was the right call, honestly. Well, because they were on Louisville's side, like I said, so they're gonna give Louisville the benefit of the doubt. So
But still, you can't call it simultaneously though.
All right.
It's not like we touched the ball at the same time. That's not a jump ball. You gotta, if there's a little discretion, then yes. But it was like simultaneously as soon as he touched the ball. Mm-hmm. That's not a jump ball.
All right, but
so every time you steal the ball, or every time like the same people touch the rebound, is that a jump ball then? No.
All right, but did that play a factor?
It did play a factor in the outcome.
In the outcome, you sure?
The jump ball, yes.
That little meltdown after being up by 20 points, one play affects that? Really?
No.
One play?
But still.
One play?
They weren't up 20, they were up by like 15. There's a difference.
Okay, they were up by a large margin.
Yeah.
So I mean, Wichita State choked, and Louisville took advantage.
They choked, but at the end of the day, you should not rely on one call to save your butt.
Which in Wichita State case they were looking for, but
no, it saved Louisville because Wichita State was only down 3, I believe, at the time, and then they get the ball back, and they intentionally found they're down 5. Tell me how that's not a game changer on the officials. Please explain that.
Well, the refs screwed up the whole entire weekend, so I mean, obviously.
Yeah, we'll talk about another blown call in the Syracuse game.
All right, so you want to get to that one?
Yes.
So Syracuse in the Michigan game.
It was a great game, by the way.
Mm-hmm. It was, man. I mean, it was very low scoring
Michigan
too.
Attacked that 2-3 zone very well.
Mm-hmm.
They stretched it out because if you notice, Trey Burke was shooting from like the half-court logo a couple times.
And I told you, McGarry, man. Yeah. I told you, a beast inside.
We'll also talk about his performance in the championship game, but that's in a second.
Yeah. But anyway, the Michael Carter Williams, the 2 foul calls, the one where, honestly, Tim Hardaway elbowed him in the face. Yeah. Well, actually in the torso. So that should have been
That was bad. Bad
and
call.
then the one on Syracuse's side where. Hardaway ran into Michael Carter Williams. Yeah. That was a good acting job. That was a great acting job. But
what about the most important call?
All right, what's up?
This will cause turmoil. Mm-hmm. I'm sure of it. Is the Brandon Trish charge?
It was an offensive foul.
No,
it was an offensive foul.
His feet were not established. If you Google what is an offensive foul.
I don't need to Google it. It was an offensive foul.
No, because his feet were not set. He did not establish position, and as his feet were up in the air, so therefore it's a mid-air collision. It should be a block. His feet were not established at all.
Okay, all right. I've watched the replay several times. I watched the game. Yeah, the guy went up wildly for a layup. They're gonna call offensive foul every time. The dude tried to dunk on the guy, but he ended up ramming into the guy. So he made contact. So they're gonna call an offensive foul.
That was a game changer too.
Yeah, all right, man. But
definitely a block.
We agreed to disagree.
Yeah.
But anyway, getting to the championship game, it was one of the best ones I've probably ever seen. Besides, let's see, Duke Butler, yeah. And let's see, Hancock was named MVP of the game,
Yeah.
22
He was
points.
definitely
Did
a
his
key
thing off
part.
the bench. Yep.
He was a key part to that comeback.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they were down. Let's see, they were down 33-21 at one point.
Yeah. What do you think about the With that being said, what do you think about the ticky-tack, or I guess the 2 quick fouls that Burke had? And let's put this in perspective. Let's play the what-if game.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say the Michigan coach puts Burke back in after Hedgecock hits those 2 threes to cut it from 12 to 6,
Mm-hmm.
and kind of slows down Louisville's momentum. Do you think, let's say they go in down 6, do you think Louisville makes that momentum is different than being up 1 or down 1 as Louisville was at halftime?
Well, I mean, when Burke was out, I mean, let's
They were on
see,
that run, 14
Albrecht had like 4 for 4 from three-point land.
But that was also with Burke in.
Oh, very true, very true. But yeah, because I mean, Siva was able to take advantage because I mean he didn't have because Burke is a pretty good defender in his
Burke's
own
one of
right.
the-
He's one of the premier defenders in the country. Yes, so I mean, Siva took advantage and I mean pushed the envelope, going inside, finding his guy, finding Hancock for 3.
And then Dang, I know it's not Dang, but
it's close enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He also played a key part on the boards and altering shots because he's got that strike.
If we're talking about somebody that was having an impact on the boards, I mean Shane Bohannon, man.
There was that one series he got grabbed 3 offensive rebounds.
4 rebounds or something like that.
And
Yeah.
he got the and 1 call.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely thought it would have played a bigger role because you can't win games if you can't rebound.
And that was with McGarry out. McGarry was, and that was in the second half.
4 fouls, 6 points.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't really affect the game as much as he wanted to
because he was out most of the time, and when he was out, Louisville went inside, and I mean that's where the game was won really, because I mean you had Burke and Siva competing as point guards, you know, going inside and pushing the envelope there. But I mean, them inside guys from Louisville really made a difference.
What do you think about the officiating in that game, where it was really called tight, the 2 semis, and then this game it seemed like
they
really get physical.
They let them play a lot. I remember it was a loose ball at the end of the second half with Burke like getting the ball out of bounds or something. It was after a missed shot by Louisville.
Yeah.
And I mean, and then the block on the fast break.
Let's talk about that Bohaney, or how I can't say his last name, but Bohaney or
Bohannon.
Yeah.
Bohannon.
His series where he grabbed 4 rebounds, and they were literally pushing and shoving him, trying to get.
There could have been a lot of fouls called on Michigan before then.
Yeah,
so.
there could have. The whole game was just they let them play, but they let them play a little too much because the game kind of got out of hand. I think with.
Well, I mean they let them play, but then I mean like that Burke block on Siva, that was a block and not a foul on Burke. Yeah.
Worst call I've seen probably the whole weekend.
That was all ball.
Yeah,
and the argument is that Burke's body was like on top of Siva's when he was going for the block, like his arm was like brushing up against him or whatever the issue was.
Ball and there was no contact made. It was all ball forcing. It was Burke forcing the ball away from the rim.
And then, I mean, if we're talking about big plays, I mean, there was a couple of big plays in that game too. That was a big one.
Play because let's say he gets the block and Michigan scores there. I believe they were down 4 at the time.
Yeah, they were down 4.
That cuts it to 2. And then it's kind of a brand new ball game because Michigan has that little bit of momentum swing. We don't know what happens.
And then, man, I mean, Hardaway, that dunk on whoever it was on, woo, he just rose up. Man, his dad couldn't do that though. That was a Jordan move right there.
So quick.
What's up?
Let's quick little question.
All right.
Do you think Hardaway and Burke are leaving after this year, or do you think they come back?
Burke's leaving. Hardaway, I'm not sure.
What about Glenn Robinson III?
He played pretty well last night.
He did.
He had a couple of key baskets. He had that nice jumper that should have been. That's another foul that they missed.
Yes.
And then McGarry said he was coming back. So Michigan could do it again. I mean, they're gonna miss Burke a lot. No, but I mean they got Hardaway, and then
Burke decides we were 1 step away. We have the experience. Let's make.
They're the contender because I mean Louisville. I mean Russ Smith is declaring for the draft. Siva's leaving.
Siva's a senior.
Yeah, so.
I think Dang will leave too.
Yeah, he probably will. He's a beast. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, if Burke comes back, then Michigan is obviously one of the front runners. Yeah. But moving on from that topic, we're gonna get to the NBA, and with only a couple of weeks left in the season.
There's what, 5 games?
5 games left, so a week, almost 2 weeks left, if you want to call it. So we're gonna talk about exactly who we like in the Eastern Conference Finals. In the Western Conference Finals. We're gonna get that far ahead. So let me just read you the conference standings for the East right now. So Miami #1, true #1. 2, New York Knicks. 3, Indiana Pacers. 4, Brooklyn Nets. 5, Chicago Bulls. 6, Atlanta Hawks. 7, Boston Celtics. 8, Milwaukee Bucks. All of them have clinched playoff spots.
So the East is set.
The East is set.
So read over the top 3 again real quick.
Miami, New York, and Indiana.
All right. I think those 3 all win easily in the first round. Indiana is...
Ooh. Yeah, you're right, because it would be...
that 4-5 matchup is what is really...
Brooklyn and Chicago? Yeah, because if Rose comes back, potentially... I know. We've been
waiting a long time for his return.
Everybody's been waiting a long time for him to come back. But if he does come back, then Chicago's going to win that one.
Yeah,
obviously.
I think the team that can really give Miami a shot for their money is Indiana.
I think New York, man.
I think New York's going to crumble.
Nope. I don't think so.
You can see the top 2 seeds advancing?
I can see the top 2 seeds advancing because...
the Eastern Conference Finals?
I do.
I think...
Because I know New York's on this little win streak right now. It looks good on paper. It looks good visually. You know, it looks really good right now.
The Miami Heat won.
Exactly. But New York has some weapons, man, because Rasheed Wallace is going to be, well, let's see. He might be back.
Yeah.
And then Jason Kidd might be back.
What about Amari coming off the bench? Is he going to be satisfied coming off the bench?
I don't even know if Amari's going to come back, but if he does come back, I mean, that's a potential weapon right there.
On the bench.
Yeah, exactly. Because
can he accept that role?
He will. For the betterment of the team, yes.
Amari, please. He signed in New York to be the star.
To win a championship. To
become a star.
Listen, this is their best year to win a championship. I know Miami is like the clear favorite, but this is their chance right here.
But it's whether or not when those players come back, if they can gel and keep the chemistry going. Because if Amari there's a little fit in the locker room or says something to the media about how he should come off the bench.
I don't see it.
He's not happy coming off the bench.
Obviously he's not. Yeah, obviously. But like I said, to grow up and become a more mature player. And for the betterment of the team, he's going to have to make some sacrifices.
But will he?
He will. I'm telling you, he will. Because you got J.R. Smith coming off the bench, putting up 22 points or 23 points last game, hitting 2 key shots against Oklahoma last game to seal the deal. So, you just got to look at it in that way.
So your favorite is New York to take out Miami?
I didn't say that.
Okay. But
I said this is. I didn't say that. I said they have the best chance because I don't see anybody else.
Did you see the games earlier before they went on that win streak? They outplayed Miami physically, and they don't have the big name stuff. They have Paul George, who's an upcoming star, and Danny Granger, who's hurt.
They have big stars, man. I don't know what you're talking about.
Roy Hibbert is going to be able to play Bosh. Granger can take on LeBron.
And they're still going to lose in 5.
No.
Yes.
I see that being the other way around.
No.
I think Indiana comes out of the East this year.
Wrong. Miami's coming out of the East. They're playing New York. Is going to be a very competitive 7-game series with Miami moving on to the NBA Finals.
All right, let's talk about the West now.
All right, so in the West, we have San Antonio and Oklahoma City. They're separated by a game right now, so it could change. And then you have Denver, the Clippers, and the Memphis Grizzlies. They all clinched already.
Yeah.
6 through 7 is Golden State, who I didn't even realize was in playoff contention.
Yeah, they've had a good year.
Yeah, they had though. And the Houston Rockets, and then at 8, Utah, and then half a game behind them is the Lakers.
All right. Who do you like for that 8 seed with the Lakers and Jazz having to battle it out? Do you think the Lakers?
The Lakers are too inconsistent for me. I mean, if they made the playoffs, they
get swept by San Antonio or OKC.
No. I see them playing a competitive series. I don't see them winning it because, let's see, because they got Metta World Peace coming back potentially, and then Gasol might be fully healthy. Dwight might be fully healthy.
My problem with the Lakers. You get all these pieces back, but you've seen when they start Gasol, Howard, and Nash, and Kobe, and Metta, that they don't gel well. It's like kind of like a shaky road. Like
it takes more than a year to gel as a team. Look at Miami. I mean, they made the finals their first year, but they lost.
But also, with Dwight Howard's immaturity, how will that come playoff time? we all know he's not happy in LA. We know that.
Yeah, because
And you've seen his lack of effort
because
this
Kobe's
year.
a ball hog all the
But
time.
Kobe gets it done, and he's proven where he scores 14 points and gets 10 assists.
Because
and
Dwight was used to that franchise role in Orlando, and he didn't want to relinquish that. So.
All right,
But I see Utah getting that 8 seed though.
Okay. What about the top seed? Because you said there's a game in between.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think OKC overtakes?
I think San Antonio just barely gets the number 1 seed, just barely. It's gonna come down to like probably the last game of the season, potentially.
Right.
And then obviously I like San Antonio versus Oklahoma City in the conference finals.
It's a repeat of last year's.
Repeat of last year's,
Do you think
right?
it's a repeat of the same finals, or do you see
No.
San Antonio getting over the?
I see San Antonio getting over the hump. With New York, I mean San Antonio's the same way in the Western Conference. It's probably their best year, or even next year potentially their best 2 years to get back into the finals.
Yeah. You know who I like that you probably will disagree with?
Who?
I like Denver. They run up and down the court. I don't know if they can.
But losing Gallinari was huge though.
That is true. Torn ACL.
Because I mean he could match up with anybody.
Yeah. He could play that 2, 3, or 4 spot.
Exactly.
And guard whoever.
But I mean, okay. Denver. We'll see how they do. But I like San Antonio in
I don't
6
like
games. Yeah.
I don't like the Clippers.
You don't like the Clippers?
No.
Commercial. And sorry to cut you off, but we're gonna be right back with some more topics. We're gonna talk about 42, the new movie, the new Jackie Robinson movie. We'll be right back. All right, and we're back. So, Matt, what are we gonna talk about next, man?
There's a new movie coming out Friday about the Jackie Robinson story called 42.
Yes.
It looks really good. So let's talk about past baseball movies. Let's see. What's your favorite movie?
Probably to say Sandlot, man. Yeah, it's a classic. I mean, it came out before I was born, but I mean, you always see it on ABC Family, and the commemorative Blu-ray disc came out, for the 20th year anniversary, And
Classic.
You killing me, Smalls. That's my part.
Yeah.
I love that line. That's hilarious. And then Great Bambino.
Play ball like a girl.
You play ball like a girl, yeah. And let's see. Oh, the pool scene where he pretends when he actually drowns and then he faked it, but yeah. And then he like kissing the girl. She's like, oh my God.
Then you find out later in the movie when they tell where everybody goes.
Yeah, they end up together. Yep.
And then them just sneaking out and pulling that tree sleepover.
Oh yeah, that was awesome. And then at the end of the movie, the Beast, Zeus, when he comes out, Hercules, yeah.
Why didn't you knock on the door? Remember when he's like, you could have just knocked on the door, and they all yell at the dude that pulls the move on the lifeguard.
You gotta make the movie more interesting. You gotta make the story more interesting.
Yeah.
But
that whole chase scene too, where he chases him through town.
Oh man, that was a classic one.
And then the kids chewing tobacco on 4th of July.
You know, I actually read that it was like a combination of licorice and pork loins.
Yeah.
And it actually tasted nasty. And what was it? The main guy, Smalls, was like, I actually felt like I was gonna barf. So it made it more believable.
So, yeah. Makes sense.
But I don't know, another movie that probably cuts to my heartstrings a little bit. The kid in me and all.
Yeah.
But probably Angels in the Outfield.
Great movie. Love that movie.
Tony Danza, young Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Yeah.
Yeah. Danny Glover playing the manager. Yeah, man. Just some
great story. It's like one of those feel-good movies.
Love it. And
classic line from that movie. It could happen.
Yeah, it could happen. Yeah. Love that movie.
Maggie, remember Maggie, the foster care?
Yep. Sweet woman.
Yes. What about, speaking about another movie,
what's
talking
up?
about one of the more successful franchises, you could say.
Oh, I know where you were going with that. Yep.
Charlie Sheen.
Yep, Charlie Sheen, all them guys. Yep. with the owner trying to make them lose so many games so she could move them. And I read an article, I guess it was a couple of years back, that Charlie Sheen actually used steroids to make it more believable, to throw a faster pitch and whatnot. So yeah.
So maybe it was kind of also during that steroid era.
It was a prevalent time for steroids in baseball. Yeah. So.
Oh, did you know the second movie, because they were building Jacobs Field, was actually filmed at Camden Yards.
Really?
Yeah, if you
I
go
didn't
back and
know
look
that.
at it, you see the warehouse in right field, and Jacobs Field was modeled after Camden Yards, and they were building the Jake or Progressive Field now when that movie was being filmed. Otherwise, they would have shot it at Cleveland.
But you know, speaking of 42, you know, it's about the life and career of Jackie Robinson. It's newcomer Chadwick Boseman, man. He was in Lincoln Heights.
Yeah.
It's been a couple of things. So and then you have Harrison Ford playing the owner.
Yeah.
Show like a couple of clips. He looks pretty. He looks pretty good in the movie.
Single-handedly changed baseball in the most positive way.
Jackie Robinson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Totally.
no one realizes. Like kids these days probably don't realize the impact.
Because I mean, they always have like what was it, a weekend or a week, or I think it's a day where they wear all the major league teams wear a 42 jersey.
Yeah, for one game like during that week.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's great. And then if you look around most stadiums, you'll see 42 somewhere in there.
Yeah.
That's his number.
And then they got like a couple more people that I'm remembering. They have the guy from Law and Order SVU, Christopher Maloney.
Yeah.
He's playing up the manager, I believe. And let's see. Just okay. And then I mean, it looks pretty good. I mean, they had clips. 3 minutes. They had clips of the movie that on Yahoo Movies, which y'all should check out. And there's one with his wife or girlfriend at the time, and he talks about all the doubters and, you know, just proving them wrong. And then there's a scene of him in the clubhouse, and how there's a clubhouse attendant that shows him to his locker, and it's not even a stall. It's just a hanger with his jersey. And I was pretty powerful. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't have his own locker room. He didn't even have his own locker stall. Yeah.
Team, like I've read biographies and heard, like, you know, heard documentaries and heard stories that he would have to stay in a separate hotel because of the skin color, and that he would have to eat separately or like come in from the stadium a different way. Like,
Yeah.
so he went through a lot just to play the game that he loved.
And even like players after him, like in that time period, had to go through some of that stuff. Man, it's crazy. I mean, it's amazing how much this society, this country has changed.
Yes.
It's amazing. It's amazing that, you know,
almost 70 years ago.
It's amazing how we, amazing how we can still honor him. You know,
Yeah.
it's pretty cool. And
Last topic.
last topic. So the women's championship game is tonight. It's
8:30
at
ESPN.
8:30 ESPN. The Connecticut Lady Huskies against the Louisville Cardinals. So got Louisville in the women's final, huh?
Third time in history that teams, both men and women, have reached the finals. Only one time they've won it. 1999 Duke.
I thought Connecticut.
Yeah, Connecticut's the only team that's won.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Duke made it in '99, and then '04 with UConn, and then right now with Louisville.
So who do you like, man?
I like UConn. Gino Oriama, 7 for 7 in title games. Doesn't know what it's a loss is like, and I just think UConn's too hungry for it.
I like Breanna Stewart for Connecticut, but I like this wave that Louisville's riding right now, and I think they're gonna ride that wave to a championship win, man.
And give Gino his first loss.
And give Gino his first loss. Records are meant to be broken, man.
That is true.
So I think Louisville is gonna break it tonight. So
we'll have to wait and see.
We'll have to wait and see. 8:30 tonight. All right, so
Go Huskies.
yeah, go Huskies. Go Louisville. Yeah. So thank you for your time tonight. Appreciate you guys watching. Tune in next